Hello and welcome to episode 185 of Daryl Show Your Work. All right, so in this episode, I want to demonstrate and analyze the LockerGoga variant of ransomware. So before I jump into that, I want to remind everyone to please check out INE's cybersecurity training and certification offerings, which range from red team penetration testing to blue team instant response and everything in between, where you'll be equipped with the hands-on, in-demand skills that plenty of cybersecurity employers are looking at today when it comes to their candidates, and you'll be able to speak towards those experiences during interviews, on your resume, and on your skills portfolio. So if you go to get.ine.com/Daryl and use product code INF100-Brooks Tech, you'll be able to save $100 off any of your purchases at the checkout, with the exception of live virtual trainings. All right, so it's changed a little bit. So instead of just a flat 10%, a scalable 10%, now is $100. All right, so that the product code and the link will be in the show notes below. And without any further ado, let's get started. All right, so most people, when they think of ransomware, they think of they're on their computer one day, and then all of a sudden their computer locks up and they get this big flashing screen that's basically saying that, hey, we've locked your system, give us X amount of Bitcoin, or else you will lose permanent access to your machine, and we will release your data. All right, so while that is a popular scenario, there's other scenarios where you won't necessarily be locked out of your system, but you'll lose access to most of your data. Nevertheless, all right. So I wanted to show what that looked like here. And sorry, to get started, I'm going to bring up the resource manager, but a resource monitor rather. All right, so move that over here. All right, so the resource monitor, it's used for tracking various system activities such as disk, CPU, memory, and network usage. So the reason I brought this up is because I want us to be able to track the amount of resources that's currently being used versus what happens when I trigger the ransomware variant here on with sample here on this system. All right. So let's see. That should be right here. All right. So I'm going to click this and let's see what happens. All right. So it gives me a warning. Basically, tell me there's a problem with the shortcut. And if I click yes, it looks like it disappeared. All right. So no worries, because this is what's supposed to happen. All right. So we think seemingly it's something benign, or there's some issue going on with something that was on the desktop here. But if we pay attention now to the CPU usage and the disk usage, we can see that a lot of the system resources are now have spiked all of a sudden. All right. And then if we pay attention right here to this process right here, this service, it looks like it's just a service host, but it has a zero silver O, and we can see some numbers in between service host and exe. So we could tell that more than likely that's a file that's masquerading as a legitimate process. Another thing to pay attention to are the hundreds of processes now that are running. These several instances of the service host processes are running now, and there's some other things that are going to happen here. So let's just give it a moment. All right. So one thing to pay attention to is let's pay attention to the icons here. All right. And my screen just went black, and now we can see that now I no longer have access to my Microsoft Edge. All right. Also down here, there was some PDF documents and some other things that now, if I click on it, we can see that it has a dot. It says PDF.pdf.locked. All right, both have a dot locked extension on them, indicating that I no longer have access to them. It's been decrypted. And same thing here. We don't see that extension here, but we do see that the icons that are synonymous with Microsoft Edge are gone. So meaning that I'm locked out of that too. So excuse me. So in a few seconds here, we're going to notice something else that appears. So let's just give it a bit. And while we're waiting on some other things to happen, we can also see here up here at the top in the resource monitor, the CPU usage is just off the charts. All right, so it's up to a 100%. So again, we can see that spike in resource usage. Now over on the left, a new file has appeared. All right, a README dot dash now file. So let's look at that. All right, so this appears to be the ransom note from the ransomware game that seems to be automatically triggered if automatically appears if the ransomware triggers. So for those who may not be able to fully read it, I'm gonna read it out loud for you. So it says, "Greetings. There was a significant flaw in the security system of your company. You should be thankful that the flaw was exploited by serious people and not some rookies. They would have damaged all of your data by mistake or for fun. Your files are encrypted with the strongest military algorithms, RSA 4096 and AES 256. Without our special decoder, it is impossible to restore the data. Attempts to restore your data with third-party software such as PhotoRec, Rhino Decryptor, etc., will lead to irreversible destruction of your data. To confirm our honest intentions, send us 2 to 3 different random files and you will get them decrypted. It can be from different computers on your network to be sure that our decoder decrypts everything. Sample files we unlock for free. Files should not be related to any kind of backups. We exclusively have decryption software for your situation. Do not reset or shut down. Files may be damaged. Do not rename the encrypted files. Do not move the encrypted files. This may lead to the impossibility of recovery or of the certain files. Excuse me. To get information on the price of the decoder, contact us at Kato Akela at protomail.com. And then I can't even pronounce this. That's just Quavo Zako 94 at o2.pl. The payment has to be made in a Bitcoin. The final price depends on how fast you contact us. As soon as we receive the payment, you will get the decryption tool and instructions on how to improve your system security. All right. So apparently these guys, they're somewhere between knowing how bad they are and believing that they're somehow benevolent in what they're doing. But this is just a common example of of what ransomware gangs would do. All right, and this is just an example of what a different variation of ransomware looks like, where you won't necessarily get syskeyed out of your system, but you'll still experience a loss of access to your applications and your files, definitely causing an availability issue in terms of the CIA triad. All right. So please like, share, and subscribe. Most importantly, show your work. And I'm sorry. Before I go into that, I just wanted to share, ways that you could prevent this from happening. Got ahead of myself there. There's plenty of online tools or resources that you can access to download tools that have a database of known decryption keys to decrypt applications such as this, or the most common thing that was alluded to in this ransom note was the use of backups. So regularly backing up your system, all right, can help restore it back to a point where you don't experience too much loss of data, too much loss of revenue, all right, and you have a solid recovery point objective. All right, so So yeah, those are some strategies on how to mitigate the risk of losing your information uh, or losing revenue to ransomware attack. All right. So as I started before, please like, subscribe, and share. Most importantly, show your work, and please check out INE. You will not be disappointed with the hand-drawn skills that I equip you with. All right, and that you'll be able to take to